to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Sorry for the late upload. I finally got my voice back. Still not 100%, but going to try to have a few videos up for you guys today. And in this video, I wanted to have this up yesterday. I wanted to talk about the undrafted free agents that the New York Giants brought in specifically at the wide receiver position. And they brought in four. They brought in Austin Mack and Bijimen Victor, both of Ohio State, along with Derrick Dylan and Rysen John. And all four of them bring different skill sets to the New York Giants. And I think we all agreed going into the draft, we would have liked to add a wide receiver in the 5th or 6th round, specifically one, that was a little bit taller, being that we kind of need that. Really, our only somewhat tall threat on the outside is Darius Slayton, who's 6'1", and this system calls for vertical passing threats. And it would be nice to have a red zone target. Well, these guys, they're different in size. Derrick Dylan was brought here because of his speed. We're going to get into that. He's only 5'11". As far as the two Ohio State products, Austin Mack and Bijimen Victor, Mack is 6'2", Victor's 6'4", and Rysen John out of Canada is 6'7", and could prove to be a sleeper and a good potential red zone threat for the Giants. We're going to have to wait and see how they all do at training camp, but I wanted to jump into some of the numbers of all these individuals, talk about some of their pros, some of their cons. Wasn't able to pull up a lot on John, but I'll be able to pull up his pro day numbers for you guys, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll see throughout the offseason if any of these guys could crack the roster and actually carve out a role with the New York Giants. I do think it's going to be hard because, we don't have supreme receivers, but we have some pretty accomplished receivers on this team. Golden Tate, obviously, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram when healthy is a target, along with even Corey Coleman, who's a former first-round pick. But the first thing I wanted to pull up for you guys was the list of all the undrafted free agents. This one actually excludes Rysen John from Canada, but you'll see here the three wide receivers we're going to talk about: Austin Mack, Bijimen Victor, and Derrick Dylan, along with Rysen John. And here are the numbers for Austin Mack, who stands at 6'2", 208 pounds. Sometimes I read 213, but didn't do much at Ohio State. Now, they have a lot of weapons over there. Make no mistake about it. I remember last year, I think they had two of the top wide receivers in the country. Only had 6 touchdowns his entire career there. Never surpassed 361 yards, but maybe the Giants feel, when given the opportunity, could carve out a good niche in the NFL. And when you read the scouting report on him, there's a lot of good things that you could like. Stout frame with a length of 6'2", 215 pounds. Well put together and has the strength throughout his body. Experienced. 19 career starts, began last season at least 3 receptions in his first 6 games. They're talking about his junior season here, before suffering a foot injury. Natural talent as a boundary-type wide receiver. Physically imposing receiver who has consistently gone up and won through contact. Fearless going over the middle of the field. Drops his pads in the open field and brings physicality as a ball carrier. Aware of the sticks and will push the route past them in order to work back downhill. Does a great job of using his hands in order to create late separation when he's crowded. Will easily fit in as a possession-type receiver at the next level. Sees zone coverage well, finding voids along the boundary and the middle of the field. However, he did have injury problems. The foot injury slowed down his second half of the season last year, so he's yet to fully break out to his point. Lack of touchdown production in his career, only getting into the end zone 3 times through his first 3 seasons. He had 3 in his senior year. Well, he's a technical route runner. He doesn't create a ton of separation against man coverage, limiting his potential in the NFL. I believe he ran a 4.640, and it sounds a lot like some of the receivers we have. Guys like Golden Tate, guys like Sterling Shepard, but certainly a guy that they want to bring in, give a look, and a guy that was a pretty highly regarded wide receiver coming into college. The next guy we're going to talk about is a guy that I am pretty encouraged with, and I think maybe could carve out a role with the Giants eventually. I don't know if he'll be able to do it in his rookie year. That being Bijimen Victor, 6'4", 198 pounds. So he's underweight there. That's the con that you're going to read about him. Needs to put on weight, needs to put on muscle. But in his 4 years while at Ohio State, kind of got progressively better. And one thing you'll notice, he's pretty productive in the touchdown column. In 2017, he had 7 touchdowns, but in only 23 receptions. And this year, he had 6 touchdowns in 35 receptions. So could prove to be a pretty good red zone target, along with 4 touchdowns on 24 in his junior season. In terms of the overall grade on him, Ohio State wide receiver Victor enters the NFL with modest production as a Buckeye, but his flash is a big play potential are exciting. Victor offers a massive catch radius, and with good ball skills and a surprising amount of post-catch ability, With that said, Victor is built like a pencil with disappointing play strength and poor route running skills. Victor has appealing physical upside, but he's underdeveloped in critical areas. Patience is required, and I'm sure good coaching is required as well, something that the New York Giants think they could bring to him. The next guy we're going to talk about is a very intriguing prospect, Derrick Dylan. You look at these numbers, Dillon did nothing. He only had 634 yards over the course of his career with 4 touchdowns. However, one thing I want to point out, he did sit behind some of the best wide receivers in the country well at LSU, that being Jamar Chase, who is regarded as one of the best prospects in next year's draft, along with Justin Jefferson, who was a first-round pick in this year's draft. So he was kind of stuck, on the roster, down on the roster. This guy is a burner, and that's why the New York Giants brought him in. There's no doubt about it. I think he ran a 4.29 at his 40 days, so we'll see. You can't teach speed. You can teach a lot of things. One of them you cannot is speed, and that's what the New York Giants hope that he brings. The next thing we're going to talk about is Rysen John. A lot of people are encouraged by him. He's from Canada. He's 6'7". You can't teach height. He did a virtual pro day for scouts on Tuesday and impressed in several different facets. He was able to run a 4.6 40-yard dash while hitting 13 reps on the bench. Additionally, he had a nearly 7-foot-long wingspan and a 32.5-inch vertical jump. With that kind of catch radius and running ability, he'll be a threat for any team that gives him a look in the draft. And then finally, the Vancouver native grabbed 53 passes for 861 yards and 10 touchdowns during his senior season at SFU. The 6'7", 237-pound pass catcher has rare size and is confident he can make an impact at the pro level, wherever that opportunity happens to come. So, pretty encouraging stuff. Very interesting. They all possess different skill sets. The New York Giants, to me, are probably going to be looking for the taller threat. I think Victor probably has the best chance to carve out a role on this year's roster. They're all long shots because we actually have experienced pros at that position. But maybe if an injury happens, one of them gets an opportunity. And the Giants definitely brought in some tall threats to help in the red zone area for Daniel Jones. It'll be interesting to see, though. Victor maybe could help out. Derrick Dylan, with his speed, may be able to help out on special teams, things of that nature, and nothing but the best for all 4 of them. Hopefully they find a way to crack the roster. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.